Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and in today's video we are going to learn how to develop a cylinder with 8 intersections. So in this video we are going to learn how to draw our base also when developing a cylinder properly. So we have our question over here: develop a cylinder with diameter 25 and height 60 millimeter with 8 intersections. So we are going to first pick our center to diameter 2. We move this side and we draw a circle of diameter 25. So we zoom in here. Good. We are going to have something like this. So now you pick your line tool and you draw a horizontal line. You can draw a horizontal line at any distance, but make sure it's a reasonable distance from the tip here of the circle to the top. So I'll do mine right here. I have my horizontal line right here. Now they said with 8 intersections, so we pick our line tool again. We hover for the center of the circle. We draw from this quadrant to meet this quadrant. Now we highlight our line. We move to the array. We pick the polar array tool. We click on the midpoint. Click on the midpoint. You are going to get this, and we need 8 intersections. So you move to items, you input 8, and then you press enter, you close array. So we are going to get something like this over here. When we are done, we are going to project this edge to meet here, and we project this edge to also meet here. So let's do that. We are going to have here, touching here. Make sure your line is straight. So it must be at an angle of 90 degrees, so meaning straight. So it meets here. Now we are going to change these two lines to hidden 2. Come to this side and you choose hidden 2. Good. So we are going to have something like this. And our question says with a height of 60 millimeters. So always, you know that HP, which is your you know that VP is always going to be your vertical side. So most of the times you use your height at the VP side. So the downside is your HP and your upside is your VP. So we pick this tool, we measure a distance of 65, and we know that this side is going to be a length of 25 because the diameter of the circle is 25, and then you meet it right here, 65 again. Good. So we are going to have something like this. Now at this point we are going to project all these lines up. We project this up, we project this up, and we project this up. So we are going to have pick our line tool, stand here, make sure it's in a straight line. Pick here again, you stand here, take this up, and you pick the center tool, you stand here, pick this up. Now when we are done, we are going to label all these lines over here. So we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you pick your text tool, you stand here. Over here you input, let's say 3, the font size should be 3. Then you start 1. Let's first write our numbers, after that we arrange them. So we are going to have putting 3 here, the font size. So to make it look a little bit smaller, you put 2 here, you pick here, change to 3, put 3 here, put 4 here, put 5 here, Put 6 here. Put 7 here. And then you put 8 here. Sorry, change it to 3. You put 8 here. So now let's arrange it well. We are going to have our 1 here, 2 to meet this line. We're going to have our 3. Okay, so we are going to have something like this. Now when we are done having this, we are also going to name it with alphabets, which is A here, B here, C here, D, E, F, G, H. So you are going to have A to H. So I would prefer if we put our numbers inside the circle to make it look nicer. So let's say we have it this way. Then we use the alphabet at the outer side. So let's put our letters inside this way. Yeah, we can put in our letters this way. Can have our 5 here. Okay, let's put our 6. And then we have our 5 here. Good. So now we are going to label each side with an alphabet. So we go again, use the same font size, which is 3. Put A. Use here again. B. Okay, so let's place them well. We have A right here. We have our B here. We have our C here. D. We have our E here. We have our F here. G. And then we have our H. Okay, so we are going to have something like this. And then again, if we look at our projected lines over here, when we look at this line right here, we are going to have 2 prime over here and we have 8 prime. So when we look at it from this side, we are going to have 2 prime over here and 8 prime on this line. On this line to this vertical line, the center line, we are going to have 3 prime and 7 prime over here. When we look at it from this side too, we are going to have 4 prime and 6 prime over here. And this outer line, we are going to have 5 prime. So you always have to make sure your labeling is intact to get it correct. So when you look at this line, we have 8 and 2 falling over here. So the 1 will be out, but we have 8 and 2 falling over here. Over here, we have 3 and 7 falling over here. And over here, we have 6 and 4 falling over here. So we do that labeling too, and we continue to get our base. So now we are going to have so change it to 3. We are going to have 2 prime, 8 prime. Over here. then we are going to have 3 prime 7 prime over here. Let me place my gem well. Good. And we are going to have 4 prime 6 prime over here. We are going to have here to be 5 prime. We can have here to be 1 prime. Okay, so when we do same for here, the reason why we indicated with alphabets and numbers is because the numbers are going to be the prime side of the base here, and then we are going to use the alphabets to represent the top side to make it easier for us to review. So if we have here to be 2 and 8 prime, then that means the top here is also going to be what? B and H prime on this line. The first line, we know that to be A prime, and we know the second line to be B and H prime, and we know the third line to be C and J prime, and then again we know our last but one line over here to be D prime F prime, and then the last line here to be E prime. So we are going to do the same thing over here. We input and then we have our E prime over here. Okay, so we are going to have this over here. Now we are going to, since it has 8 sections, we are going to develop the base. But to develop the base, we must first get the perimeter of the cylinder values that were given to us. Yes, we must first get the perimeter of the cylinder to be able to get our base over here. So with doing that, we know that finding the perimeter of a cylinder is equal to pi times d. The mathematical formula is equal to pi times d. And here is the case where we all know that pi is 22 over 7. So if pi is 22 over 7, we have our pi on d. Our d in this case is 25. So we are going to have pi times 25, which is going to give us 78.5. So with the 78.5, I would prefer running it up to 79 to make everything easier. So let's first project these lines over here. We are going to project our lines over here. Good. We project this. Let me trim this side and project it. So project this line too. Okay. So I can extend it. Take your extend to okay, good. So now we know our perimeter to be 79. So after getting the 79, we know that they are intersecting 8 times. So we are going to divide your 79 by 8. And if you divide your 79 by 8, you are going to get 9.8. That 9.8 is what you are going to use to section this side to be able to draw your base. So please pay attention. For a cylinder, we have a way of finding its perimeter. For a cone, we have a way of finding its perimeter. For any other, shape you are given, we have a way of finding its perimeter. But for a cylinder, to find the perimeter, the mathematical formula is pi times d. So we are going to have pi times, and d in this question is 25. So we are going to have pi times 25, which will give us 78.5. And I rounded it up to get 79. When we are done, in case your question gave you 12 intersection, you are going to divide your 79 by 12. But here is the case where they said 8. So you divide your 79 by 8, and then you get you will get 9.8. That 9.8 is what you are going to use to draw your lines at this side to get your base. Thank you. So we first pick our offset tool. We offset this line. First, make sure you draw a line, maybe maximum of 10 millimeters before you start with your drawing for the base. So let's say maximum 10 millimeters. So we can call here 1. This is our 1, and here will be A. Okay, so when we are done, let's start offsetting. Now we know that after dividing 79 by 8, we are going to have 9.8. So meaning each length distance is going to be 9.8. So we have 9.8 over here. So we do that 8 times. 9.8 again over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we do another 9.8 again. So we are going to have this over here to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, 5, 6, Then we have here to do 1 again. This is because we have 1 here, because if you fold this side to this side, we are still going to get, after folding it, we are still going to get our last end here to be the same value as the 1 over here. So if here was to be 2, at the end of the day, when we are done folding, we are still going to get 2 over here. That is why we have the 1 here. So here will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A. So we do that also. We have here to be A again. So now let's arrange it. So we arrange them. Okay, so when you are done, we can trim this line out. So we are going to have it looking this way. So I would prefer not to use this one over here. I will just leave it this way. Yes, so when we are done, we are going to draw our base. And in drawing our base, we are going to use the circle here to draw our base. We project 1 here and we project 1 at the top. You can choose any of the numbers to stand and put your center of your circle to that number. But then let's say, assuming if I choose 4, I'm going to assume it practically that I folded it from this side to this side. But you, first of all, let's say I'm choosing 0.4. So let me finish drawing with the base first and we move on. So I select here and I copy it. And then I paste it here. Sometimes too, if you do the copy and paste, you might not get it touching, so you can just delete this and then you delete this, to pick your dimension to you measure from here, from the top here to the center, which is 13. So you can pick your line to over here. You stand at 4, you measure a distance of 13. You pick your circle diameter to the center to diameter. You input 25, which are going to have something like this. So you check the dimension over here, you have 13. But then again, in this case, we are going to use 12.5 because the distance from here to here is 12.5 and the distance from here to here is 12.5. So we are going to use 12.5 over here. 12.5 plus 12.5 will give you, 25. So there is no any calculation. So you input 25 and then you have a touching. Now you trim this line. Trim this line over here. Good. So we are going to hover for our center. We have our center to be here. We draw from this quadrant to this quadrant and then we do the polar array for that. So you select, choose your array, select object, polar array, you click on the center. You need 8, so you input your 8, then you are done. We do the same thing for the top. So the top we are going to use D. So distance of 12.5. Then we draw with a diameter of 25. We clean this line. We hover for our center over here. And then from here we are going to select, we move to polar array, we click on the center, we need 8, then we have this. So we are going to first do our labeling, and in doing our labeling, since we have C, D, E, we have here to be F, G, H. We have here to be A and B. We have B over here. So we are going to do same for this side too. Oh, sorry. We are going to do same for this side too. Since we have here to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here will be 2, 1. So we are going to pick this. So let's arrange it. So yes, we are going to have a loop this way. I mean, we are done with our drawing. It's going to look this way. So yes, this is how to develop a cylinder. Yeah, I think that's it. So you can change the color of your alphabets or your numbers if you want it. I mean, anyhow you want it. So yes, once again, thank you for watching this video and watch out for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Bye. See you in my next video.